Time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, folks, we're growing in the city of Hazleton. A lot of things are happening. We have a lot of mixed emotions, people coming into town, seeing construction, hearing about a lot of things, the crime, all these things that are happening. I always like to try to bring facts to the table, okay? Well, forgetting personalities, forgetting whether you're a Democrat or Republican, bringing facts to the table or what really is happening in the city of Hazleton. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. I'm Sam Lesante. My guest today is Mayor Joseph Yannuzzi and Acting City Administrator Steve Hahn. And today, folks, we're going to deal with facts. If you have any different opinions, other than your own political agendas, save your emails. I'm not going to listen to them. I want to hear facts, folks, not nonsense. Mayor, thanks for coming on the show, and Steve, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
It's I want to thank you, Joe, because every time we do call to do a review, people think that you're just in your office and you hide from people. I don't know where they get that impression, but like you're doing nothing, in your office. So, but I appreciate that, Joe. In general, where are we at in this city as far as the financial conditions and where we're growing and what's happening?
We're in a good place. We're actually moving along as I planned. I mean, I went into office 2.5 years ago, and things just don't happen right away, especially in government. So it took those first 2 years to get things in place, and now this third year, it's starting to take place. We're financially looking good. Downtown is looking great. That was my signature project I wanted to do, was to revitalize downtown, because I felt that would stimulate the whole city, and I think it's coming to fruition now.
Well, as you get around in town, I know when you're involved with the project, such as Governor Corbett, when he took over, he had a challenge. People forget that it was a $4.2 billion debt that was left to the man, okay? And so when you start doing the things, he hasn't raised the taxes. I'm not here. They say, you're always for Corbett. So, well, I'm only for people who speak the truth and do facts. I don't care whether Corbett was Democrat, Republican. The point is that facts. Now, when you ran for office, now, I talked a little bit about your history, because sometimes you judge people by their past, okay? People run for office, all of a sudden they're involved with the kids and they're doing the church groups and they're so active, but what about the past? Since 1980, 82, 83, Joe, you've been involved in the city doing a lot of things. You're with the Chamber, Can Do, so it's no secret that Joe Yannuzzi and his wife was involved with different things, okay? But then we hear, he's lucky he made it. If that person from Alder Street didn't run, he would not be the mayor, okay? And he's an inactive mayor. He's not doing anything, and he'll never make it again. He's raising this, he's doing that. And that's okay to say those things, but when you talk about the way the condition of the city is, okay, what you said you wanted to do, all right, and some of the things, just to repeat what you said you wanted to do, what were some of the key issues?
The key issue was downtown. I felt that downtown was the city's Valmont Humboldt Park. I mean, this is where all our employment is. The city is only 5 square miles right now, and downtown's the heart of it. It's the industries down here, the banking's down here, there's employment down here, and so it affects our economy down here too, because of the shopping that left. If we can bring some of that back and some of the industry downtown, this was what I wanted to do, and I worked hard at it, and it's starting to take shape with the D'Angelos moving downtown. Now, as you know, we're taking over the Greco property. The garage is going to be built. That's going to help stimulate business. Every little part is going to have to help to revitalize the downtown.
So, Joe, we have some naysayers, okay? Mm-hmm. The naysayers are those people that have their own political agendas, and that always gets me frustrated, even if it was the other way around. When George Hayden took over the bank, he'll never do it. What are these? Wasting his time, et cetera, et cetera. And now look at the building. The building is beautiful. The Hayden family, George is working hard at it. It's about 80%, I understand, 85%.
It's even more now.
Even more so, full, okay, which is a tribute to them. But look at how now downtown is becoming right now. I know where it's inconvenience, believe me, it's particularly for anybody. But it's a temporary inconvenience. We see the growth there. We see, this thing with the Greco thing. I know a lot of people didn't realize the paperwork and the circumstances with that. Why does the mayor leave it like that? I mean, like you wanted it like that.
It wasn't my property. I would have straightened it out. I tried to. Matter of fact, some of the violations he had to go to the point of ripping the building down. But aside from that, right now we have it. By the end of the month, it'll be officially ours, completed, and we'll put it out for design and development. So maybe in a couple of months you'll see a garage being erected and almost completed. And just in time is the corridor, which is going to be done in October. It's like perfect.
Perfect.
The Angels in a month or so will be starting their project in the Traders Bank, and that's going to help. Everything's coming together really nice. We want to keep it on track. I can't listen to these people who are naysayers, who look for every little problem they could possibly dig up. I'm focused on my goal, and that's why I'm not out there bashing people who bash me, trying to get back at them and everything. I'm focused on getting downtown developed.
And the interesting thing, Joseph, is when you see this progress, if you talk to some people on council, will let you know that you're running the city into the ground. Right. You're not doing what you have to do only because it becomes political. I hate that. I really hate that political nonsense. You have accountability. The accountability is after 4 years. If Joe Yannuzzi said he was going to do something, where's it at? And that's what I look at, accountability. And I did that with other people, be accountable. Steve, when we look at the finances after the break, we're going to talk about where we are, in the financial situation. But let's talk about some other things. You get criticized, and I don't know why, like, in other words, your family members, you get criticized because Dominic Yannuzzi is your cousin, who happens to be an engineer, and then you have the other side saying that, hiring your cousin and hiring Benish, it's costing us more money, there's double billing, there's this. I have no idea what they're talking about sometimes. Really, the fact is, has it been a plus?
That's what they ought to have to look at. I put people beside me like Steve and Dominic and people that I can trust, because we have a job to do, and I can't just give it to somebody off the street and let him go and do my job. I have to trust the person first. And I trust Steve and I trust Dominic. Take a look at Dominic's record and say he's doing a lousy job. Don't say he's my second cousin. Say that he is doing something illegal. Don't say he's my second cousin. They keep bringing a second cousin. It's been proven over and over. That is not an nepotism. And he is not the owner of the company. I hired Benish, not Dominic. I hired Benish. Dominic is a plus, because that's the guy that's going to work with the city. That's the guy I trust. When I went into office, there was one goal, was the finances. That was in really bad shape. I had to bite the bullet. I had to go talk to council to get the taxes raised. We can't go on like we are. We can't afford police. We can't afford fire. So I went and I did that, and it happened. And Steve, in a minute, will tell you what's going on to show you that by doing that, it's on the right track. Second, I brought in the police chief, who was doing a great job, because it was finance, crime, and jobs. So there I did the finance, now I did the crime with Frank, and now I'm on jobs downtown. So there are the 3 steps, and I have other plans for other facilities in the city of Hazleton to improve that.
Well, now, when you're going back to they're saying that by hiring Benish, it's costing us more money. This is where
we used to have an engineer on staff, and he couldn't do everything. He hired other engineers. So they're going by his salary compared to what we're paying Benish. Well, it doesn't compare. But if you took what we spent in engineering fees for everything we did, we brought in different engineers.
And
So
see,
the
we'll get to
price-
that point where we're talking about, look at the total package here, okay? But here again, it makes for good reading. It makes for good, it's his cousin. It's funny, like all of a sudden, are your family members stupid? Like if my sister was an expert in different things and I was I would hire my sister if she had the qualifications. I don't care whether she's my sister, okay? I mean, and this is complete nonsense. Folks, I'm talking to Mayor Yannuzzi, and we'll come back and talk to Steve Hahn, who is the acting city administrator. And is he really keeping council, not giving him information? We hear that, they're not giving us any information. Well, is the mayor really doing that? We'll find out when we come back at this break. Thanks for staying with us, folks. Remember, 24/7 SSPTV.com. We're so happy with the results we had in May with our surveys. Once again, folks, thank you so much for watching our local news, now hitting well over 75,000 people per day, more than any broadcast station in our area. And that's a tribute to our news department, a tribute to the fact that you people have enough faith in us. This show now is up to 135,000 people a week. The girls at 125,000 people a week. Now we're covering, as you know, Monoy City, all our friends in Monoy City, Fractal, Tamaqua. We appreciate you tuning in. My guest today, Mayor Joseph Yannuzzi, City Mayor of Hazleton, and Steve Hahn, who is the acting city administrator. Steve, talking about, first of all, Joe, are you keeping the council, aren't you giving him information? Because they say he never gives us anything. He keeps it all a secret.
I don't tell them everything because I don't think that they have to know everything, because some of the things are self-explanatory, but they seem that they don't understand. So they say, he doesn't tell me. Well, you don't ask either. I don't know what they don't know. So what you don't know, ask me. No questions stupid.
Yeah.
Some answers are. But
So
I tell them.
If I
what
have
they
a
know.
concern, if I'm a city councilman, and I have a concern about something, can I call you and say, hey,
Absolutely.
look, Joseph, I have a concern about this?
Absolutely. They have free will to call even Steve or any other director and ask them, what is this? Especially when they said the police. They never called Frank. I mean, they said, oh, I don't know this guy. Why are they doing this? I didn't get enough. You had it for 4 days. Why in those 4 days didn't you question it? We felt we're hiring the police. He's the next guy on the list. Where's the problem? No, well, they don't know and why. So they should have asked those questions, and they didn't.
We do get a lot of requests come to me from council members before the meeting. Some of them take a lot of time to try to answer, and we do our best to provide answers to them. Sometimes I got emails from one of the council members asking why they don't have work sessions, and they need why the meeting isn't covering certain information. That's nothing that I really deal with. That's the council clerk and the council president control everything to do with the meetings. I don't set the agenda. I don't do anything with their agenda other than we supply things to council that we would like them to deal with. But it's their agenda, basically, to work with.
Staying on, the agenda of what Joe said, he was looking at finances, okay? Now, Joe's saying to me and to the viewers that we're coming along. How is the financial condition of Hazleton?
At this point, we're about halfway through the year. We're coming up on the halfway through the financial year or fiscal year. Looking at about June 15th, which we're about 45% of the way through, the city's general fund budget is $8.6 million. We've brought in about $6 million, or we're at about 70% of what's budgeted has come in already. So we're significantly ahead in terms of revenue. And the expenditures, again, should be about 45% of what was budgeted. We're about 46 or 47%, so it's a little bit over. There's overtime in there that came from snow plowing earlier in the year. There's overtime for fires that you can't really control. And some of the things like insurance policies, we pay ahead of time, so they show up early as an expense, but that is diluted over time. So again, the expenses are tracking very close to what they need to be, and the revenue is very, very good. Previous years, because of lots of other circumstances, the city was always trying to catch up. They were behind in revenues, and that's why they had to do borrowings with tax anticipation notes to start the year off. Now, this year, the mayor proposed a budget that was, if you spend $1, you have to see where the dollar's coming from. We can't pretend that it's just going to be here someday. So if you spend $1, you have to show where it's coming from. And that's a big change, but we're ahead of the game by about $1 million or so at this time of the year.
I understand that, you know, the reassessment, and Councilman Mundy made a good point where he's saying that some areas in Hazleton where some homes are, you know, overassessed. And I understand that Councilman Perry and Shader, is it, am I saying? Shader, I'm sorry. Councilman Perry and Councilman Shader are doing something about this in the next couple of weeks. I understand from speaking to some people today that they're going to actually address this situation to help people that are being overassessed. You know, again, actions always speak louder than words. We could say that, you know, we're upset with different things, but we got to put things into force. And I think Councilman Perry and Shader are doing that. They're going to be doing something, making a major announcement in the next couple of weeks. What that is, I don't know, but I hope it'll help. And we certainly don't want to be unfairly assessed, especially with
but people have had the opportunity, and businesses, anybody has an opportunity
Yes.
to appeal their assessment if they feel it's incorrect.
I think that's what they're going to be doing, helping, driving people to give help, okay, in that area. That's what I think.
Because if there's a reassessment, the numbers will change, but the city still needs to bring in the same amount of money. It will have.
That's the concern.
It should have an effect on the county taxes, that we're probably overpaying for county taxes because of the assessment. But
Joe, do you think the county is treating us? Are we getting our fair share from the county?
Not really.
Okay. And so that's always been a concern up here. You don't feel we're getting.
Really forgotten. We're the lower Luzerne.
Yeah.
You know, I call it
So,
Southern Luzerne.
I've never met the city, the city.
Now wait,
admin-
no, let me correct something.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Lawson. I'm talking about the county as a whole.
Yeah.
That's the way they treated us. That's the way they looked down, you know, on us. But he is starting to change things.
Is he?
Oh yeah, he met with Steve and a bunch of other managers throughout Luzerne County. He had them at a dinner. He spoke to them. He asked them, you know, what they can do, what he can do. So he's starting to change that feeling. But the people on the council are the ones that look down on Hazleton, and it's something that's been there for years.
You think he'll change it, Steve?
I think that, I mean, one of the things just to address is that a number of years ago there was a push that was started through some initiative about merging transit operations, of merging Hazleton in with the Luzerne County Transit Association, or in merging them together. We fought that very hard over the last year, fought against that. We wanted Hazleton to keep their operation, keep that identity, keep it separate. It's a very cost-effective operation. So talking to the manager, he initially looked at it and said, oh, the council, some of the people, the commissioners previously wanted this merger to happen and felt that it was a good thing. But he listened to the city, he listened to the mayor and myself and anyone else, and the county wants to stay out of that. If that's Hazleton, if it's good for you, we're going to stay out of your way. So I think we appreciate that. He did have a great willingness to work with the city on any projects that they can. They have limited resources too, but any way they can work with us on the buildings downtown in particular, they're more than happy to.
So when we come back, folks, we're going to talk about projected revenue. We're going to talk about projects, the airport, talk about some other future development, and the quality of life. I understand there have been people who are getting citations. However, when they go and to the magistrate, it's very simple. They can't afford to do what they have to do with the quality of life issue. So is there any help in those areas? And looks like we're moving ahead. Unfortunately, folks, if you didn't vote for Joe Yannuzzi, you're not happy about it. If you voted for him, you're happy about it. So, folks, don't you think the nonsense should stop and worry about what we're doing in the city, whether Joe is Republican or Democrat, whether you voted for him or not, and start working together and, you know, bringing the thing. Sure, you're going to have debates, but we should move ahead. And we are moving ahead. When you look at the city progressing here, and crime certainly is a problem. Chief DeAndre has been on the show many times discussing that. We don't like to see the shootings. We don't like to see the stabbings. But it happens. It's unfortunate. And you go to Reading, you go to Wilkes-Barre, you go to different towns, and you'll come running back to Hazleton as fast as you can when you know what's going on in those areas. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, folks. 24/7, ssptv.com. My email, sam@ssptv.com. Believe me, folks, I welcome your emails, but be factual when you send me emails. That's I don't have time for political nonsense. You know, it's interesting. Talk about just a quick. I get these emails from the Democrats in the state of Pennsylvania, and that's okay. But you know, 90% of it is all nonsense, all lies. Okay, about Corbett. And I had Muser on the phone on this last week talking about this. Okay, if you're going to say something, say it factually. Okay, don't give me. You know, they're so nervous that Corbett's going to do his job. Okay, well, it's like so nervous Joe Yannuzzi is going to succeed. It helps everybody, and I don't care, Joe, whether you're Republican or Democrat. I don't care if W. Yannuzzi is your blood brother. Doesn't make any difference to me. It's success. Talk about the airport.
That's a real hidden gem in the city. There's been a lot of controversy about that. The name was changed from Hazleton Municipal Airport to a Hazleton Regional Airport. That'll open up the door for some additional grants. The runway is in their plans to extend that. That should be happening fairly soon. Some of the things, it's a lot more active. They've gone in, Dominic led the way with that, and folks at Benish to really change some of the things at the airport and bring people in. Last time at this year, for all of last year, there were fuel sales of $26,000. This year already it's $60,000. So it's a real turnaround just in the revenue. There are a lot more jets that are landing there. The city acquired a hangar that's really going to be a great asset to the city as time goes on. But that's going to be a real plus, I think, as they move along.
So you put management in there, okay, to stimulate, okay. So what happens is your second cousin, okay, which is like a taboo, brought one over there from 26,000 to 60,000. I don't know if he had something to do with it. I think the fact, a lot to do with it, okay.
The reason I let Steve answer that question is I brought Dominic in. That's his little gem,
yeah.
And he took hold of that. And we now own a hangar where overnight jets could come and pull in and leave it and pay us rent plus fill up. So he has actually turned around the profit at the airport tremendously.
And I hear, what the hell does Yannuzzi know about the airport? Well, that's not the point. The point is, right. It's the business operation that's happening, okay? And this is the kind of thing that people just don't hear, Joe, okay? If you don't like a person, I understand that. But let's look and see. You may not like a doctor who's going to operate on you, but the guy is experienced. So, okay, I don't have to like the person. It's what he's going to do, okay? And I think this is the reason why I wanted to come on the show, okay? It's not that I'm for helping people that are trying to do their best. If you lie, Joe, or if you deceive, then you have a problem. And that's why I support Corbett, because the guy said, it's not his show, but he said, I'm going to do things. You came in and said you're going to do things. Okay, I hear, well, he's clobbering the senior citizens. You're causing the senior citizens the tax increase, and that you're a bum, and that you don't have any idea what you're doing, okay? And I can understand that. I really can. But if it's, give me some proof to this, okay? If you give me some proof, I can understand that. And those are the things that bother me, Joseph, okay? I don't know how you react to those things, but I have an invested interest in this town. My wife and I made an investment in buying this building, and we want to see the town grow, okay? And we're doing here what we can.
Like I said before, if I react to these things, then I'm off track. My track is straight down, changing the city for the better.
And we've had some meetings, a few meetings with the Chamber of Commerce, Can-Do representatives, some other local folks from the downtown area, and seeing ways that those different entities or organizations can pool resources to really help bring some money and some funds into the downtown. One of the things we want to try to advance, the Can-Do has a Can-Be operation, an incubator for manufacturing, to get manufacturing ideas off the ground. We're really looking at trying to set up a retail incubator operation downtown. If you want to sell t-shirts or have an idea about selling something, there's a pool of people that can help you. We'll teach you how to do finances. We'll teach you how to market your product. We'll provide space, retail space for you so that you can get your business off the ground. Maybe we give some kind of rent subsidy for a period of time to get them started. But that's in the infant stages now. But I think that's a very positive thing, to bring the retail. You're bringing people with jobs into the downtown to fill 2 more office buildings over the next couple of years.
That's fabulous.
They're going to go somewhere.
That is absolutely fabulous. And people can be, what they've done, what Jack St. Pierre has done has been fabulous. Joe, even your meeting today, I don't know how much you want to talk, your meeting today is going to bring revenue somewhere, hopefully.
Well, as you know, the Hazleton Creek property up on 309, between 309 and 924, it's needs development. It's close but not done, and the dredge has dried up, believe it or not. We can't get it anymore. Everybody else wants it and is taking it.
Remember, this was the taboo many years ago.
Yeah, so he fought it and got it approved, and now everybody in Philadelphia wants it,
right.
so they're keeping it.
Yeah.
He can't afford to go down and bring it up.
Sure.
So he has a problem, but we're looking to bring in the the drilling up where the gas is, take that material, not the flushing material, the drillings, whatever they drill out, they're bringing here. It's approved. It would be approved by DEP, tested by DEP before it left the site and came here. And he's looking for a permit to put it in and mix it with some other stuff and
That's a
fill
whole
that
story.
hole.
That's a whole show itself.
story by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
But the amphitheater is ongoing. It's he announced today that he has an active group that wants to help him develop it. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can get it.
Here
done.
again, so much that's working behind the scenes that the public is not aware of. And so hopefully, through the shows, we can at least bring facts to the table. Now, are you going to be 100% on everything? I don't know. But the point is, that we see progress. Steve, thanks for coming on. Joe,
Thank
I know
you.
you came from the meeting. I appreciate it very much.
No problem. Anytime, Sam.
Okay, folks, remember, SSPTV.com. We're only dealing with facts, folks, and that's important. Facts are ugly things sometimes. But for those of you who have agendas, political agendas, put them in your pocket. Forget about them. When the election time comes around, then bring them out, okay? And if you have facts, go and see the mayor. Tell me if he's lying to me, because if some of your councilmen are not getting information, let me know. And believe me, we'll talk about it. We'll see you next time.